Dear Jesuit companions, Mr. Mark Baudet, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Paul Donovan, President of Loyola High School, distinguished guests, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of Loyola High School. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for inviting me to Loyola High School. I say Loyola because I speak Spanish. Sorry. To Loyola High School, on a day when you, the many collaborators of the school, are being honored for the essential contribution you make to the character, identity, and direction of Loyola and to the service of its mission. I would like to talk first of all about collaboration. Collaboration with others, like you are doing, dear guests, is the only way, and it's a profoundly evangelical way, whereby the Society of Jesus can carry out its mission today. How can we put together genuine teams of apostolic intent that can develop all their potential? How can we connect with our alumni, for instance, so they feel like companions in the mission, not just nostalgia for the institutions of their youth? I am pleased to hear that your Board of Governors is actively engaged in apostolic planning in order to effectively respond to the challenges of the strategic plan that you have elaborated here in Montreal. In our case, just planning for an educational institution is not enough. For it to be apostolic, it should be make present the good news in each institution. Planning must also be apostolic because it is driven by the Ignatian Magis looking for the best and the greatest service. Education that paves the way for understanding the world we live in. The service of reconciliation starts with understanding the world we live in, our home. The task of the educator, and in particular our educational institutions like Loyola High School, is to help younger generations find their place in the world and before God, so they can project their personal and social development, helping to build a better world. We know that humanity has its good and bad points. Unfortunately, the negative aspects are a reason for worry, and they show that we are in a profound crisis because of the structural injustice and the many abuses committed against human beings and the earth. Here are some realities of our world that can help us to understand the reach needed for the service of reconciliation and justice born of the good news proclaimed by Jesus. First, we are witnesses to an unprecedented demographic changes. Millions of people have become migrants or refugees because they are fleeing conflicts, natural disasters, or poverty, all in search of a better life. Second, inequality is growing at an alarming rate. The distance between the rich and the poor continues to grow, and certain groups, like the indigenous people, are increasingly marginalized. Third, polarization and conflict are on the rise. The use of religion and the image of God to justify hate and aggression are one of the great anti-signs of our time. Fourth, there is an impressive ecological crisis that affects our planet, our common home, as Pope Francis called it. And fifth is the exponential expansion of a digital habitat or culture. The internet and social networks have changed how humans think, react, communicate, and interact. This digital ecosystem or habitat has allowed for the expansion of information and solidarity, but it has also generated deep divisions with the viral growth of hate and fake news. So, an education that looks towards the future. Renewal is an ongoing task in an educational work. We need to go a step ahead of what we know and imagine today. Our educational models need to prepare young people for the future. How can we better serve the mission of our schools? How can a school educate for reconciliation? What frontiers should our schools reach? And what educational processes should take place? We should answer these questions with imagination and creativity, without forgetting that the goal of our education is to train individuals so they can give meaning to their life and contribute to the common good with their context, their society, and their planet. And for this, we need to have the freedom and creativity to explore new models that embody the magis today. We are facing some specific challenges. I will mention also 5. First, know how to educate and train in a new way for a different future. It is important for our institutions to be spaces for educational investigation through laboratories in innovation in teaching, from which we can draw new teaching methods and models. Second, in educating for justice, it will be important to reach out to the poorest and most marginalized. Also, to train a critical and intelligent conscience when faced with unequal social processes that are focused on consumption, the accumulation of wealth, and the exploitation of the environment. Third, respect and care for the common home demands that our institutions train our students in the environmental dimension of reconciliation. Fourth is to assure the development of a culture to protect minors and vulnerable individuals. And fifth, the offering of religious training that opens students up to the transcendental dimension of life. According to our Pope, this tension of living between heaven and earth drives you to act, to change, to do, to imitate God, the Creator, Redeemer, Sanctifier. It drives you to be human. A school is a magnificent platform for listening to and serving today's youth, helping them dream of a new world that is more reconciled, more peaceful, and in harmony with creation. Thank you very much for your presence here today and the support to the Loyola High School. Thank you very much.